right, good evening. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Buckeye High School Football Coaches Show with Coach Aaron York. We'd like to thank our headline sponsors, BK Distributors, and also like to thank Rio Rojo, the best Mexican food around, for letting us have this Coaches Show every Thursday night here in Buckeye, Louisiana, and we just love it. We thank Scott for everything he does for us. And hey, let's get into this thing. We're going to recap a little bit about Bunkie, Josh.
Yeah, look, it was a tough game. We knew it was going to be a tough game going in. I mean, Bunkie's a phenomenal football team. Got some really good athletes, as you could tell. I mean, we did have some. We had a touchdown call back. I mean,
right.
You know, on the scoreboard it was a little different, but you know, we had some good drives, but we just couldn't really get anything going because they were so big. And I mean, they had a good game plan going in, but we're going to go into some of the offensive stuff. I'll let you take over some of the offensive stuff there, and then I'll go over the defense after that.
All right, so yeah, we had a tough one against Bunkie. Listen, Bunkie's a great football team. They got a couple of D1, commits, and you can tell. Listen, they're really, really good. They performed well last week, and it was a tough ask for our team. But we went over there. We gave it an all. Grimmett had 77 yards passing. Boone had 4 catches for 44 yards. He also had a big, 65-yard, call back, which was big.
Look, and when he turned that corner, I mean, he showed you that he could run with those guys. He was quick.
Oh, I thought he was going to get caught, and he never did. He just kept going up the sideline.
He kept pulling away from him. So, I mean, kudos to Hayden Boone there, just showing that speed off. I mean, it was phenomenal.
That's right. And listen, he had another diving catch, which was really, really impressive. He hauled that one in. But, they shut our run down. And they had some big guys up front to do it.
Yeah, look, they come in and they knew, I mean, keep in mind, Burlew had 201 yards the week before, so they were sitting on that run. They were going to do, they put 7 people inside the box.
Right. And
they made you have to beat them with a run because Burlew ran on them last year.
Right. He had a huge game against them last year.
That's right. So when we were in the booth, they were talking about it. What they really keyed on was stopping that run, and they did a good job doing it.
And when you can stack the box with 7 and you have the athletes to play man-to-man on the outside, it's going to be a tough night.
Look, I mean, if you stack 7 people in the box and your quarterbacks are playing 1 yard off the ball and they're checking you at the line and they're quick enough to get with you, it's hard for anybody to throw on.
And it is. And you listen, they got a big game coming up this week against Gina too, so that's going to be a big one for both sides. But they're a really, really good football team. They're well coached. It was, it was a class act over there in the booth. Everybody treated us good. Good luck to Bunkie for the rest of the year. But like I say, Grimmett had 77 yards. We had, we mixed in some rushing yards here and there. Jenkins had 1 catch for 31 yards himself.
That's one of those freshmen that come in, and look, that was actually on a fake punt.
That was a fake punt.
It was called really well. The fake punt was called really well, and he was out there by himself because no one was expecting. But
I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, he did a good job of hauling that ball in because when you're out there by yourself, those ones around you for 10 yards, it's hard to make that catch and run.
And as a true freshman,
that's.
Wade has stepped up this year, and he got him. He got him a good catch, a big first down. We moved into Bunkie territory, and almost got a chance to put one in right there. But listen, we had some good players on defense. Our defense stayed on the field a lot of the time, Josh. So.
Yeah, look, we're going to go over some defense here. Ty Curtis, 7 total tackles. Colt Bircher had 1 solo, 1 assist, 1 tackle for a loss. Gage Bernard had a good night. He had 3 or 4 or 5 tackles. Justin Hunt's been playing good all year. He's one of those sophomores that stepped up. He had 3 tackles all the night. Jackson Spradlin there, and he also had 7 tackles.
And Spradlin had some touchdown saving tackles.
He did. Look, because once they got to that second level, those guys were really quick and they could move really well.
Yes.
Spradlin, I mean, he did a very good job of doing that. Also, Braden Polk, Braden Polk was out there on the island by himself a lot, didn't have a lot of help over the top. Had to cover number 5. I mean,
nobody wants that test.
Yeah, all year. He's still doing good. I mean, he had a lot of pass breakups, and they didn't really throw. They didn't really throw the deep ball, but maybe once or twice. They did a lot of crossing patterns, to try to get.
The quarterback was so accurate.
He was very accurate, and look, he would wait for those crossing patterns. He would roll out and just buy his time because he knew where he wanted to go.
Right, and he was an athletic enough guy to give him some time, give his receivers time to get open. And when they were open, he hit them. I mean, he didn't miss many throws.
Yeah, no, his accuracy was infinite. Right, he could throw it. It was one of those there on the flag. I mean, it was just we had great coverage on it between two guys. The only person that could catch it is his guy, and that's who caught him. Fitzpatrick had 3 tackles. Jim Burley got in on some defense there. He had 2 tackles. Jackson Tam, another one of those freshmen, 2 tackles. Jackson York had a tackle. Yeah. And Andrew Hensel actually played a good game. He had a couple tackles there as well.
Right, and listen, it's always good to see Jim Burley on the defensive side of the ball. He'll hit somebody, whether he has the ball in his hand or they got the ball.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, one of the player of the game for this week that we're going to talk about has been one of those guys that stepped up. This defense has been spot on for the Panthers all year. I know that they keep them in the ball game, so they have the opportunity to win those ball games. And I think the guy we're going to talk about next for being the player of the game, it's not really the player of the game, it's just an outstanding defensive player through 7 games. I mean, he's been spot on.
He has been so consistent. And listen, he plays both sides of the ball, but he's been really, really, really a leader on that defense. Him and Colt Birch are race to the ball every play. I mean, he's a really tough-nosed football player. He's a good kid. I want everybody to give a big round of applause to this week's player of the game, Ty Curtis. Come on in there, buddy. All right, Ty. We've been waiting to get you up here.
Yes, sir.
You're on both sides of the ball. You're always around the ball on defense. You seem to have a nose for the ball. How do you end up where the ball's at every play almost?
Let my hair on fire and running the football.
There it is.
That's the ball to tackle.
That's a linebacker mentality right there.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go over some of your stats here, Ty, which is really good. Look, 52 total tackles.
Yes, sir.
13 solo. You've had 3 fumble recoveries. You've had 1 interception, and almost took that to the house. You just got caught right there at the end. And look, you run the ball 19 times for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's an all-around football player right there, man. I think you did a phenomenal job, and like I said, it's really fun to watch you on the defensive side of the ball. Like Darron said, you have the mentality of a linebacker because if they turn them back into you, man, you're right there. It seems like all the time to make a tackle.
So is your line seems to be they cut up the field a lot.
Yes, sir.
And they sort of free them up because they're doubling teaming them a lot. That's got to be a dream job for a linebacker to clean up everything after that.
It is. I get to be in the name gap every time.
That's what I'm talking about.
AC gap.
You watch old Whit Weeks for LSU?
I did. He's really good.
Yeah,
He's really good.
that's who you need to play like, man. He plays like his hair's on fire too, and we appreciate you playing like that. Everybody does, but we enjoy watching you play. And listen, you get on the offensive side of the ball, and you give Jim some rest.
Yes, sir.
I mean, at first we didn't know who was running the ball. It was you or Jim because y'all both run so hard. Me and Josh were talking about that in the booth.
Yeah, I mean, you are identical runners, both downhill, very hard to bring you down. Very seldom do you, if you get hit at the line, you're still fighting for those extra yards. So I know you put in a lot of time during the summer, and like I said, if you can buy into this program here with the coach, I think you can make you a phenomenal football player. And you're on your road there, man. I mean, it's really fun to watch. I'm glad your dad's here. I've seen your dad come in with me. I think he was our longest.
He won the longest listener.
He won the longest listener. I forgot where he was at, but it was overseas. We thank you for his service. We were talking about it.
Yes.
I'm glad he's going to get to come out. Get to watch you play a little bit of football. I think he did a fantastic job.
So we're gonna throw out a number for you tomorrow night. 10 solos. Can you get it?
I got that.
You got that?
10 solos. That's 10
solos.
solos.
That means you better play like you just possessed. You got it? Well, buddy, we want to thank you for everything. We got a plaque here for you. You can hang up at your house, wherever you want to put it. Defensive player of the game. We love to watch you play. Just keep it up, buddy. Thank you. Everybody give it up for Ty Curtis. All right, Josh. He's a great young man too. Besides being just a great athlete, and we're proud to have him on the Buckeye team. But he's going to play big time tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
I hope he gets the 10
He gets
tackles.
fired up. He's fun to watch. I'm telling you, it's a lot of kids on this team that's fun to watch. He's one of them.
He is one of them. And you know that defense has gotten to the point where it's a competition within their own team. Who can get to the ball first? And when you start breeding a defense like that, that's when your defense comes up.
Yeah, look, you got Gage Belgrade, Cole Virtue, Ty Curtis there,
Michael Jenkins.
Michael Jenkins. Once Michael Jenkins turns that up, once he makes those guys turn up, he's really got to work hard to get there because those three guys I'm telling you, they are flying around the football.
And I know your pain, Michael, because you're on the end. I was always on the end, having to race this guy for the nose guard, and it's tough. But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
You start having a game
When
within
you
a
can have
game.
that little bit of competition in between your teammates.
That's right.
That's a good competition trying to get to the ball first. And you can't beat that. That's what makes this defense so successful to keep us in these ball games, I think, because they play really hard. I mean, you look at it, they've been on the field a lot, and they keep us in ball games.
And they're in really good shape, and they play all 4 quarters. You never see them die down. You never see them give up.
That's right.
I mean, even in the game the other night, it was got out of hand, but you never saw them hang their head and give up. I mean, they're a really hard-nosed unit, and if they give the offense time, the offense scores points. So we're just happy to see them. We want to see them tomorrow night. It's going to be a big game tomorrow night. But listen, we're going to do a special segment this week.
Special segment.
Yes, we're going to bring in Miss Melissa Grimmett once again, the Director of Football Operations here at Buckeye, and she's going to thank us our sponsors. Everybody give it a hand for Miss Melissa Grimmett.
We're going to put her back in the hot seat.
Hot seat.
I don't think I'm the director.
Oh yeah, that's what we called you though. That's what we got you. We got you back in the hot seat this week, Melissa, because listen, it takes a village to do what we do. And for y'all to take care of them boys and get them to places and feed them, it takes a lot of people in this community. And we want to just take the time out, and we know that y'all, as Panther Club and Buckeye, want to take the time just to thank our sponsors. Take a special segment to thank them.
Hey, before you start, I want you to pick that mic up and hold it for me. This one. Yeah, turn it on. Because we're trying this out. We're adding a third ready mic, so. Yeah, there we go.
Alright, so I first want to start off by thanking our scoreboard sponsors. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Buckeye has a new scoreboard. And that came a lot from our parent club, the Panther Club with the bingo and such. But we have some new sponsors that have put their name on that. I want to thank BK Distributors, Promotions and Apparel, Carey Family Chiropractic, Holloway Outdoors and Marine, Race Rock Shelter Insurance, Kim's Ride with Wilder Realtors, and Booster Oil Company. Those guys were our big sponsors on the new scoreboard. And then we did something different. Coach York, when he came in, we talked about doing something a little bit different. And so we have game sponsors. So we have 10 game sponsors that they have given a little extra, and we give a little extra back to them. But we have DC TWT Removal with Mr. Ray Bolton, Wendy's Fast Food, AMT Enterprises, Century 21 with Kayla Walker, CT Fenson, Distrand, Fountain Group, Hometown Healthcare, Rio Rojo, and Luke Tyler Logging. Those guys, like I said, they are our game sponsors. And some of those guys have even come out and done some serving with us, and I'm going to talk about those in a minute. And then Coach York said we want to have first down sponsors. So we have several of those. We have ACM Paving, Affordable Rent to Own, the Burger Stop right here on the corner. They hooked us up with some JV burgers as well. Devin's Body Shop, Gotta Go Services, Hesser Cooper Law Group, His Pipeline, Red River Farm, Southern Air, Start to Finish Roofing, and Twin City Financial. Those guys did a first down sponsorship, and again, they gave us a little extra for that. When we started talking about serving the boys, I reached out to Distrand. They came and served our boys and brought us a cookie cake. Southern Air then reached out. They brought a group of people in, and they talked to the boys, and they brought us some dessert as well. Next thing you know, here comes Race Rock. He cooked us up some jambalaya one day, and he served the boys. And then we had Clico. Clico came out last week, and they had a pretty good presentation talking about the new program that they have in the line crew. So it's awesome to see those people stepping up for our kids and stuff. But I just wanted to make sure that we gave a big shout out, because I know Jordan does it every Friday night at home.
Right.
We want to make sure we give a big shout out to all those sponsors. So
And listen, it takes every bit of all
Every
that
bit of it.
to make this whole production take place. And, you know, these are people that's giving out the goodness of their heart.
Right.
You know, these people that come serve, not only are they giving their, you know, monetary, because they're coming to buy food, they're giving their time as well.
Right.
And that's something that, you know, you don't get that in every community
You
like
don't.
this.
You know.
Yeah, and if you look at, like you said, there's the in-game sponsors this year was,
There's
I mean,
a
Oh, it's
total of
amazing.
99 sponsors.
99 sponsors. I mean, you
Couldn't
couldn't
get one more, Melissa?
I mean,
One more.
We need to, you couldn't get triple digits?
Try.
You should have called Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could have put Scott Davies' name on there just to have that 100.
Well, just to have the 100. But and it was amazing. Like I said, me and Josh talked about it in the first game. When we got in the stadium, the sign sponsors had triple, I guess, at least
Yeah.
triple. And it was like, how is this happening? How did you put it together as a team to get all this money?
Well, we sold it to the kids as, we need y'all to go get one sponsor, because every Friday, every Monday, you're getting a meal in front of you. And even when we go to away games, we feed them a post game. There's something, there's Gatorade, candy bars, there's a hamburger, there's something for away games. And so, we told them, we're like,
Yeah, and look, to give you the idea of that, I picked up some candy bars for you last week, remember?
Yeah.
I went to Sam. I bought 4 boxes of candy bars.
Right.
I bought 2 boxes of Hershey and 2 boxes of Snickers. That was $158.
right,
That's insane.
That's-
But
that's how much it takes.
right. And on top of that, like, the Gatorades themselves, buying a couple of cases of that, we're already up to $250, which is what our sign renewals are. And so, just one of those is taking care of one. And that's just one of the small.
Yeah, and when I say I did it, I mean the Panther Club bought it. But I'm saying, just to look at it, 4 boxes of candy bars for $158. I mean, that's how much it takes to feed 60 guys.
It's a lot. Like it's over $20,000 what we're putting in those kids' bellies, but they deserve every bit of it.
Right. And that's and the thing I like about it is they go out and help themselves.
Right.
They're the ones being fed,
Right.
but they don't expect to get something out of nothing. And it's good teaching, because it lets the young men go out and work for something that they're going to get later on.
Correct.
And I think that that really says something about our young guys around here and our businesses.
Right. And it's the parents and the kids, and like I said, I don't have to beg anybody to come up on Fridays to help serve, help cook. It's awesome, and it's like you said, it takes the village, and we got our village, and we got a pretty darn good village.
Yeah, we've been saying it from week 1 from the Jamboree. I don't think you can find any better community as far as what to go out and help you do anything.
Right. And I don't know who cooked the pork steaks from last home game, but they were phenomenal.
We have a couple of we got some guys. Sammy Belgard cooked that last batch. Jared Boone, even my husband Forrest Grimmett, Rudy Deville, Bubba Burns, Jesse Curtis. The list goes on and on of those men that walk in there and you're like, my goodness gracious.
I see Rudy Willis there all the time.
Oh yeah. He knows where the food's at. He's got it.
And listen, it's more than just that. Like me and Josh came early last home game. I think it was the homecoming game.
Right.
And you had guys out there putting up the blow up run out thing, and it's just everybody pitches in, and it's really good to see. Even with a program that's just starting out, they don't know Coach Floyd,
Right.
but they really responded to him because and I think it's going to be really, really good, bright future for everything, for the whole program going forward.
Right, I do. I think it's great. We're only losing 7 seniors, and I hate to lose these seniors, and I want to say this real quick. Tomorrow night is senior night. We will kick that off at 6:30. We will have senior night for the football players, band, and the ROTC. I'd love for everybody to come out and support those 7 young men, because they've given their hearts to this school, to this program. and they've been here through thick and thin. And so, you know, if we can come out and support those guys, that would be great. Today, I want to say this too. Today, those 7 seniors walked around to the teacher that influenced them the most through high school, and they gave them their jerseys. And so those teachers are going to wear their jerseys. And if you have a chance to go look on the Buckeye Facebook, we have those teachers that influenced them, from the English teachers to Spanish teachers. I mean, and so it's not just it's the coaches. These are the teachers that influence these kids. So
I think I don't know who came up with that idea, but it's really, really neat. It shows that, you know, what you're doing means something. As a teacher, you're not just, you know, you're molding young people. And that's great, and this community is great about that, you know, helping that out. I would like to know who some of them teachers are, maybe get them on the show and talk to them just to see how that made them feel when they had that.
right. I mean, like I said, we did it a couple of years ago. Chet Bass did it a couple of years ago, and so Coach York and I were talking, and I was like, I thought it was really cool. The teachers thought it was really cool. You know, Miss Holt was asking me about it today, and so I mean, it is. It's a big. I know. I mean, me as a teacher, like I like to know that somebody appreciates me.
Yeah.
Ever so often. So.
Because, you know, you'd always hear the bad stuff.
Oh yeah.
And, you know,
Exactly.
that's going to go on Facebook and everything else. But you don't hear a lot about the good stuff and stuff like that. And, you know, that makes a big difference in teachers, you know, doing their job as well. So we're happy that Buckeye's doing that. We're happy for all the sponsors. Listen, we can't thank you enough, because without you sponsors out there, we can't do this. None of this is possible without all the sponsors that go into Buckeye athletics. And, you know, we can't thank you enough. We appreciate it. We ask that you continue, because, you know, I think Coach Aaron is building something.
Yeah.
Well, and somebody once told me, if you're not supporting your kids, who are you supporting?
Yeah.
I mean, these kids could be doing a whole lot of other different things right now that we really wouldn't want to talk about, but they're here, they're fellowshipping, they're having a good time, and the same thing happens every Friday night. They're, you know, having a good time.
And like I say, a lot of people don't understand that the things as a coach wants is to build a camaraderie with his team.
Right.
And what better way to do that than something like this, or, you know, something where you meet every week and you get together and you do this before the game. I mean, naturally you're going to be practicing all week. You're going to be at the game all. Why not, you know,
It's something not
let your
between
hair
the
down,
lines.
let your hair down a little bit, you
Something
know.
where you're not.
Because at the end of the day, they're still kids that you know, that they need someone.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, here in Louisiana, if we're going to have a gathering, we're going to have to eat.
Correct.
So,
That's a fact.
so, I mean, all the kids, you know, they enjoy that. They enjoy to let their hair down a little bit, be kids for a little while, until they step between the lines again and they have to get serious.
That's right.
But we thank you for everything you do, because, like I said, we get our stats from Melissa every single week. She takes care of us. She takes care of head and all this stuff with a bunch of different people. All the guys that pitch in on cooking and everything. You know, we can't do it without you. We thank you for everything you do, and we just hope that you can continue to do it.
Me too. I wouldn't do it if I didn't like it, and I love being around the kids, and I love seeing, you know, their faces, and they're appreciative of what they have. So.
Right, and that's good. That's good to, you know, that's good to have if you're going to continue to do it, which I know you will. So I'd like to everybody give a big round of applause for all our sponsors and Miss Melissa Grimmett. All right, Craigo. Hey, we can't do it with all the sponsors. She does a great job with all that as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, I wouldn't want to have that job. I mean, she does it all the time. She's doing
Oh, it's 24/7.
24/7. She's on top of it. And she's very passionate about it. And
Right.
she's passionate about the game of football, for sure.
Yeah, you watch her on the
I
sideline.
watch her on the sideline. I mean, she enjoys the game. She
Yeah.
enjoys the game, and she enjoys winning.
Yeah.
She enjoys being a good program. And it's hard to find people that dedicate their time for them.
That's right, you know, because she don't have to do that, but she loves the game, she loves the boys, and she takes care of us a lot. So we appreciate Melissa. And all right, we're fixing to move on. It's time for the man of the hour. Everybody give a big round of applause for Buckeye High School's football coach, Coach Aaron York. How you doing, bud?
Good. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. We're all right.
How you doing, Coach York?
Oh man, another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. We up here again, buddy.
That's it.
But listen, we're glad to have you here for another coaches show. We get a Friday night game this week, which will be fun, back in Panther Stadium. But before we get into all the football, we're going to get into our little segment, get to know your coach. All right, Coach. So listen, all the Panther fans don't know you. Still new, first
Okay.
season.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your wife, your kids, something the Panther fans don't know.
Oh boy, man. First of all, let's say this. I've got a great support system at the house. Long time ago, I worked for a guy, and he told me, he goes, your number one team is the one at the house. So they are my number one team. My wife, Chrissy York, she's an educator. She's from this area across the river, so her family has ties to this this area, Pineville, Alexandria area. She went down to LSU, graduated there, met me, and I guess the rest is history.
That's right.
So she is a Louisiana native. I got 4 children, 2 boys that are twins in 9th grade, Fisher and Jackson, that I get the pleasure of coaching them now that they're in high school.
Oh, yeah,
So
we're looking forward to that.
It's exciting to
And
have.
they were definitely the last ones to leave.
They are.
First ones to get
And the
there.
first ones to get there. And so, kind of not by their choice.
Not their choice at all.
Whether they like it or not, that's what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Because there have been many a days that, hey, do we really have to stay here? Yes, you do. So,
Yeah, the answer to that question is yes.
yes, you do. And then I've got Finley, which is our 9-year-old girl. She's 9, going on 19.
That's right.
And she's the first girl on my side of the family, so you can imagine.
Oh, she's the princess of the family.
She is.
Yeah.
Whether whatever the lies are or not, but yeah, she gets treated like the princess. And then our last one is Briggs. He just turned 5, and so he's in kindergarten. And those 2, they go to school with my wife. She's teaches up in Provincetown, and she's an assistant principal up there. And then the 2 boys go with me.
I heard that. Listen, I think, did I see, is that a movie star? I saw him on the news one time.
He may have. He did.
Yeah, I think I've seen him over here.
Yeah, for sure. I think he said go Panthers. On
Go
the news.
Say go Panthers.
There you go,
Yeah,
buddy.
there
There you go. Well, listen, you got a great family. Beautiful kids. We're excited about your boys.
Yes.
I know you're excited to be able to coach them, and we're excited to have them. But we thank you for being here. We thank you for sharing your life with us. And,
I couldn't do what I like to do, which is get out and coach and put in the hours. And I know I'm gonna say this for all coaches' wives. They put up with a lot.
Yes.
We see more of other people's kids than we see of our own kids. And so while we're out, playing kid sports and trying to relive our youth through other kids, they're at the house taking care of the important things. So
it takes a special person.
it does take a really special person, and that was one thing that, as I get older, I get to mentor and talk and coach with younger coaches that are getting into it, that are, getting married or dating, and the first thing I tell them, say, hey, make sure who you're with. They understand, the time that it puts into it, because if you're going to be in this profession that you choose, that, it takes time.
It does, and that's that going into it. If you want to be the best coach you can be, it's going to take a lot of time.
Well, that's what you just said right there. If you want to, work to put in the best, it's all about the effort, on a coach's part. And, you can go through and, slide by and not put in the hours.
Yeah, look, anybody can get up here.
Anybody can do it.
They can fill a coach.
Yeah, show up on Friday night.
Right,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's easy to do. But yeah, like you say, to be a successful coach, especially in nowadays, you got to put time in just as much as anybody else.
That's it. And people don't see, those extra hours of getting there, whether it's washing clothes, whether it's looking at film, whether it's cutting a film, whether it's whatever it is, meetings, breaking down filming, all those things put into it. They go into, the product that you see on Friday night. And, not only are the coaches, but it's their families that, they give up a lot to.
And we appreciate all our coaches, you know, the spouses and all their kids that you know make the commitment to give up that time for us as you know, as student athletes. And listen, they don't. If it was just Friday nights, it wouldn't be that bad. But it's the other stuff that people don't see.
It's a 7 day week.
10 months a year.
Right.
It is.
You know.
And a lot of our coaches too, you know, they have second sports.
That's right.
You know, as a football coach, I'm blessed that after football season, you know, we're still working out, but it's not another
Take a
sport.
breather.
Right, I can take a breather, but you know, most of our coaches, they go into whether it's track, whether it's baseball, whether it's basketball, whatever it is, powerlifting. I mean, they pick up a second sport, so that's you know, it takes a toll.
Yeah, it does. It does. We appreciate all of them.
Well, look, we know your boys are the same age as mine. They're freshmen. They play baseball.
Yes.
So we were going to ask you, you know, did you play any other sports? What other sports do you like? You know, coming up?
I did growing up. You know, you talk about them playing baseball. They also play basketball as well.
Yeah.
And it just so happened, you know, having a dad that was a coach. We were my brother and I both. You know, we were pushed in playing. When you got done with football, then you went to basketball. When you got done with basketball, you went into baseball.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
That's the way it was. We did too.
And my kid does the same thing.
That's
they do
what
all three.
they do all three. And
It's
so
a lot.
It is, but I truly believe, I feel like, you know, I'm never going to tell a kid to specialize in a sport. I think that they need to be competing. They need to compete and hear other coaches year round.
And college coaches will tell you the same thing.
They want that.
Yeah.
And so it's, you know, I grew up, I played at a 6A school in Florida. I played all three. And it was just one of those things that we did. We didn't look at, you know, we lifted weights in the morning and we played our sport in the afternoon. There's a balance of doing all of it, and you know, as an athlete, you got to learn how to do it. My boys, they play all three. They, I think both of them have their favorites, you know, which one they like. But you know, I think that, you know, the more that they can be involved, the more skills that they can learn. Each sport has different skills that they bring to the table.
That's right. It
And
makes you a better athlete.
That makes you a better athlete. And so, you know, especially nowadays, you know, I cringe whenever I hear, hey, you know, I'm just going to do this sport, whether it's I'm just going to play football or just play basketball or baseball. I think we're doing our athletes, our kids, a disservice. I think that they need to play it year round, not one sport, but they need to play multiple sports.
Yeah, let's take it now. You can pick any sport you want now. They play it 12 months a year.
You can.
I mean, you can play baseball 12 months a year. You can play basketball 12. I mean, it's
Any sport, I don't care what it is, but you look though, even your major leagues, your NBA, your NFLs, they take breaks.
That's right. That's
They
right.
take breaks from their sport.
Yes.
Now they're still conditioning, they're still lifting, they're still whatever.
Keep your body in shape.
Right, but their sport, they're taking a break from it. And I think that, you know, I think it's good for kids to go from one sport to another. Once again, not only are they learning different skills, using different skills, but the biggest thing for me, takeaway is, you know, that kid that's heard me for the last 4.5, 5 months in football, you know, politely yelling and screaming out on the football field.
Right.
You know, they get to go hear it from another coach. They need to hear it from another coach. They don't need to hear me for 12 months. And guess what? When they get done with that coach, they need to go hear it from another coach.
Yeah, well, look, it makes them grow. They're like, you know, some kids will get the mentality, well, this guy just don't like me.
Right.
But, you know, they get that growth from other people.
That's right.
You know,
If they
staying
take a
on
little
it
bit
to make them better.
That's
If
it.
they take a little bit from here, a little bit from there, it makes them better every year.
Yes, it does. So when you talk about, you know, what sports do we play, you know, I played all three. You know, anything that we can get our hands on, we want to play. My boys, you know, I feel blessed that, you know, they like to play sports, and they, you know, they're falling in love with, you know, all three of them, which, you know,
Yeah,
I
like
love.
another one me and Darron played in high school was golf.
Golf.
Now, that's a different story. Yeah, they just let us leave school.
Yeah.
They just let us stay in school. I didn't say
So we took them up on that offer. But listen, all right, I know you're a big bird hunter.
Okay.
You love bird hunting.
I do.
Favorite all-time bird dog you've ever had?
Oh man, the one I got right now, and then there was one a few years ago. First of all, let me back up. I'm a big Brittany Spaniel guy.
Okay.
If you go through, but it's not any Brittany Spaniel. The Brittany Spaniels, I love orange and white. That's the color of the dog. They have brown and whites, they have liver and whites, but the ones that I love are orange and white. The one I got right now, his name is Rue. He got all the paperwork on him. He's purebred. He's 7 years old. If you know anything about a Brittany, they are not calm dogs. My wife, she's a big dog, lives inside the house with us. I was growing up where the dogs have a dog pen. They have their own house outside. He's a working dog, you're right. And he is a working dog, but he is my dog. This one right now. I also had one a few years ago by the name of Trip. And so both of them, they came from the same bloodline.
Okay,
But
so they have the same temperament.
Right,
like
yeah,
that.
same temperament, and but those two right now off the top of my head. Once again, Brittany Guy, my dad, he's a big setter, Llewellyn Setters.
Oh, so he has different dogs.
Yes,
huh?
he does.
When I was talking to him, he was talking some trash about the dog
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
But he knew your dog was really good.
Now we get after it now about who's got the best bird dog in the
Right.
family, but definitely, just we love bird dogs. We love watching them. We love training them up, and then going to watch them. The shooting part, I leave that to everybody else.
Right. You
I
wanna
just
watch
like
your dog work.
I want to watch my dog work, and so as a coach and school teacher, you never get out enough as you want to. But anytime I can put them in birds and get them out to work, it's fun to me.
Yeah. And we know you're super passionate about football, but you're also super passionate about them bird dogs.
I
can tell
am.
just talking to you.
I am.
That's
I am.
something you really, really enjoy doing.
I do. It's Brittany's they got my heart.
Yeah.
Those type of dogs.
And once that happens, you're done anyway.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you need
it.
puppy dog eyes.
That's it.
Well, I think it's because you like fundamentals so much. I mean, teaching that dog.
Teaching them.
Yeah, when you take a
Coaching
lab,
student,
when you
yes.
take a lab from a puppy and teach it to become a dog, I mean, that's satisfaction.
It is.
Because you start them out like a kid. I mean,
You're right.
So, I mean, it shows you that growth that they can
It's funny to see, you get that relationship with that dog. He'll listen to me. Now, let anybody else go out there. My wife go out there. Hey, I say the same thing you're saying. He ain't gonna listen to her.
He knows the
He
tone.
knows.
He knows what's
So,
going on. Yeah.
But he's my dog.
Oh yeah, and a good dog, you can't. I have two at the house. I love them to death.
Yeah.
You can't beat a good dog.
No.
We appreciate you sharing with us, on this segment because it gets to, it lets everybody know who's up here coaching our boys, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So, all right, we got to do it. Bucky recap.
Go ahead, peel the Band-Aid.
All right,
Rip
tough
it,
week
rip it
last
off.
week, Coach. We knew Bucky was loaded. We knew they were loaded with talent, so it was just a tough week.
I'm going to give you the coach's answer, then I'm going to give you, I don't know, another coach's answer, I guess. We moved on from Bucky.
Brett,
So-
I understand. I don't want to do the same no more than you.
we moved on from them Saturday morning. I got up, I don't think I went to sleep Friday night. It's tough to watch, but it's also a reminder to our kids. And I told them after the ball game, I said, guys, if we want to compete at this level, well, this is the gap that we've got to close here. And, you talk about you want to play at the highest level, you want to compete at the highest level, you want to be the best. Well, guess what? You know what? This team that we played last week, they've been touted as one of the top in the state. Well, guess what? This is where we got to get.
That's right.
And so, if we really are passionate about that and really, want to put our actions to our words, that we saw it, now we got to work towards it. That's our goal right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of those things, like you say, if you want to compete at that level, you know what you got to do.
Yep.
And at that point in time, you got to work harder to get there.
It is.
I mean, that's just it.
And it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in a season. It's
In the
going to
next
happen
few
over your
weeks.
career.
That-
You're going
that's
to have
it.
to work as a freshman to your senior to get to that level.
And it's the championship level he's talking about. That's just like when Coach O took over the Tigers.
Yep.
And we played Alabama that year.
Yep.
And they just annihilated it. He knew the gap.
Right.
He knew the gap he had to get to.
That's it.
And he said, we're not there yet, but we will be there. And
That's it.
3 years later, he was there.
And that's kind of what I told the kids that we haven't made it there, but the guys that are going to, and I've used this, a couple of weeks ago y'all talked about phrases. that I've used in the program. But one of the things that I've told the kids are, hey, the ones that stay will be champions. And these guys that are working through and they've taken on a new system that, they keep hanging around. They are getting better each and every week. I know last week was, the score didn't reflect it.
Right.
But we are improving each and every week. You're going to see a difference each and every week. You're going to see a difference in the offseason. You're going to see a difference next year. They are going to continue to grow, and I promise you, before they get out of school, those kids, they're going to call themselves champions.
Yeah, Randy Jackson says it best. Those are going to be your dogs.
Those are your
Yes,
dogs.
you
That's
know.
it. Those are your dogs.
Yeah, the guys that hang with you, those are going to be your dogs.
Yeah.
And I believe that's going to happen because, greatness breeds greatness. So you got to
does.
see somebody win in
Yeah.
front of them. And but some of the high notes we're going to bring from last week's game. But listen, we did have a lot of turnovers,
No, we didn't.
so
Yep.
that was
Snaps were good.
Snaps were
for the
good.
most part. Yeah, we had a couple.
We had a couple.
I think we had two that we
Yeah,
missed on.
but I mean, we've really improved on
Yeah.
turnovers, on snapping the ball.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. But I mean, you can see the improvement, like you said. Last week's scoreboard didn't show it, but
Right.
the little stuff you can see in the game that improved from week
One of
to
the
week.
main things, we didn't jump on sides on them.
We did
Twice, I think.
I
That's
think
it.
twice.
That's
Yep.
from 9 to 2. That's a great improvement over one
Hey,
game.
that is those long rolls taking effect.
That's what I said. It looks like the method has worked.
Well, there's consequences to your actions.
Yes.
I think that you look at also you try to pull out positives. There's a lot of negatives we could have harped on, and I looked at the coaches. I said we're going to throw away the film. But after we looked at it, but some of the positives there, I thought we fought more in that game. And we've taken a couple on the chin this year. That one at the Voiles game, I didn't think we reacted to the Voiles game when we got down like we should have. I thought that we had some negative characteristics come out. I thought the other night at halftime, I challenged our kids. I said, look, you got 24 more minutes to play. We can't change what's happened in the first half, but we can dictate what happens the second. And it still didn't turn out our way, but I thought our kids, they competed and still competed even though the scoreboard, reflected something different. But they competed the second half, which, if I had to pull anything out positive, that was our positive.
I agree. Like me and Josh were talking in the booth. They never stopped. They never quit. They never hung their
They
head.
did. They did.
And it's tough to do in that situation.
Right.
And it takes discipline
Yep.
to keep your mind focused and not just hang your head and just here we go again.
Yeah.
You have to stay disciplined and do your job every day. And you can tell from the booth that them guys they played all 40 minutes. And that was good to see on the thing. But we talked about your post game. What does a post game speech look like? Something like that. When you go into a team, and listen, they were better. They're better than us. They got better athletes than us. And that's tough for you to, I guess, get to your boys as far as, I'm glad we played the way we did, but,
Yeah. No, I mean, sometimes you just got to look at yourself and say, hey, you got the football.
yeah.
And
They're better than
I
us.
mean, that's we're not
Today
gonna,
was their day.
right. I mean, we're not gonna beat around the bush, and that goes back to that. Hey, they were better, but this is where we want to get. So let's continue to do what we're doing and continue to work to get to that level.
And a lot of times when you go to a game like that next year when you get there, plays in the back of that mind, you get a little bit.
They will get a reminder.
A little bit of a reminder
Yes.
there when you get, when you step there, you're like, what? I'm going to try a little. Now it's my
You're right. And that's, you see, there's key games that, over 20 years you see as a coach and, before that as a player, but you see there's key games in a program's history where you just kind of turn the corner or flip the light. One year you play a team like this and this is the outcome. The next year you talk about that, you find a way to win those type of games against those programs, and that kind of gives your program, not just that team, but your program, hey, you know what? We can beat anybody now. And once you get one of those, what I call moment-defining wins, that changes that program in an instant. And, I could go back, different schools I've been at, and you can pick out games, but, you got to find a way in those big games against those big schools. But it starts with, what you're doing in the off season, what you're doing during the summer. How are you taking care of your bodies, lifting?
Yeah, I can tell you, beating teams like that don't happen in practice Monday
No,
through
it
Friday.
does not. It doesn't happen during the year.
It happens
That's-
all year long.
All
It
off
does.
season, that's right.
And something about that team right there now, I'll tell you, I've seen that Buckeye team as freshmen work their way up. They weren't always that good.
No, they got better.
They 4 years ago they took their lumps. You go look at a Buckeye team, and that coach, there was a coach there before the coach that's there currently, and he knew, hey, I've got this group coming through that we're working them out as 7th graders, 8th graders, and guess what? They're reaping the benefits as seniors.
Right.
Now, what sets apart, is what we want to do here. You don't just want that one class to come in and be successful. You want to continue that success year in and year out.
And that's what makes the difference in a football team and a football program.
That's exactly
Right.
Anybody can be a good football team.
That's it.
But when you get that good football program,
Yep.
you totally get it's two different sides of the
I
page.
completely agree.
Yeah. So our guys' mindsets are good. They're good coming out of the
Yeah,
game.
I thought we've had a good work week this
Well,
week.
good. So, all right, let's close the chapter on that. Let's be done with it.
Close.
Done. Big win for Bunkie. We wish them the best going forward. But let's get into Caldwell. Caldwell lost to close one to Marksville last week.
Yep.
But listen, Coach, we're back home in Panther Stadium, where our Panthers are undefeated. And they seem to play with a little more jazz at home. They just seem to play with a little more tenacity.
Yeah, knock on wood, we're undefeated at home. And so good thing is that, we've got senior night. And one thing that we've worked on is that we want to, our seniors, our last regular season home game, to let's go out on a bang and let's win this for them.
This is it. If you don't make a home playoff game, this is the last time you're
talking
talking
about
about
it
it.
earlier, before Darren got here. You win the Squirrel Bowl,
Yep,
right? You win your homecoming game.
you're right.
You win senior night.
Senior night.
That's
That's a good season.
That's a good year so far.
I'm loving it. It's always fun. When you get in Panther Stadium, it gets a little rowdy, and you're winning. It's always fun.
Something about playing at home.
Yes, I like it. So we're facing an 0-7 Caldwell team, but look, they're a lot better than their record shows. They've played some teams, and do you agree that they're better? Than
They are by far one of the best 0-7 teams you're going to see.
very sneaky.
They have played a high level schedule. A lot of 4 and 5A schools. We can't look at their record. You look at their school; they're a 3A school. They're in your district, so you're going to get their best punch. Like you said, they went toe to toe with Marksville. Their style of play is a lot like a Boyles team. So I am interested to see, how much we learned from, 4 weeks ago against an Boyles team, and see if we can, correct our mistakes from then and perform a lot better this time around.
I totally agree. They're much better than 0-17. They've been in a lot of ball games, really close ball games. But so what do we know about them? What's some of their key players and what do they do well?
Offensively, you look, they're, your old school pro eye set. They're going to run, veer option. They're going to, fullback. They're going to pull it, pitch it. Their quarterback can go. Their tailback, he hits it hard. They like to run tall side of it, power out of it. But they're going to give you some old school formation.
I'm telling you, I can't wait to see Curtis play down.
Yeah, this is going to be a Curtis ball game.
Cole Bercher and Ty Curtis has a real, and Gage Gover has a real good chance of shining out on these because their defensive line with Michael Jenkins, he's going to play what he does.
Yep.
But then linebackers on an option team can really show you what they can do.
This is going to be their week right here. It's going to be physical, and you talk about a tackle-to-tackle ball game. This is going to be a tackle-to-tackle ball game.
For sure.
That's right.
And we've already challenged him with 10 solos. So if
nice
he don't
if
get
he
it,
did.
somebody better get it. But that's a big game. But listen, this is an important game for the Panthers. It's going to bring us to 5-3 if we win it. That's going to keep us on track to be where we want to be in the playoffs, right?
Yep. It is an important. You said get to that 5-3 mark. Our goal is get that number 5 because once you get that number 5, now you're 500 or better for the year. can't go below the losing mark, and so that's important. It's important because it's the next game on our schedule. And if you start looking at playoffs, this game, the more you win from here on out, that's going to help you seeding in the playoffs moving forward. And
Hopefully get us another home game.
our goal is to have a playoff game home here at Buckeye and on our campus. And, we put ourselves, I told the kids the other day, hey, you put yourselves in this position. Now let's figure out a way. We got to take one game at a time.
Right.
So,
Well, we know they run the option, the power out on the offense side. What about their defense side? What are we looking at?
you're going to see every defensive lineman known to man. We've tried to throw out every defensive lineman this week through our offense. They're going to give you an even front, odd front, linebackers inside, linebackers outside. It's, I don't know. It's no rhyme or reason, but
Toss up in the air.
It's a lot going on.
And that's the frightening thing of it because it's nothing definite where we can say, hey,
Well, you can't sit there and work on that one thing.
right, that one thing, you're going to get this look in this
We're going to
formation.
trap this guy.
You're not going to get that. So we've got to really challenge our offensive front. We've got rules to everything that we block.
Well, one of our things on our offensive side, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, Ryan DeSille, man, he's been playing phenomenal all year. I mean, he's one of those linemen that has really stepped up to fill that void out there on the tackle.
You had Ty up here. Ty's, you look at a handful of leaders on this team. Ty is the leader here. You pull out another leader on this team, Ryan DeSille is a leader.
Yeah, look, you can see it from the booth. Ryan DeSille's always making those calls.
He makes all of our offensive line calls.
He's keeping everybody in line of what they need to do. I mean, he does a phenomenal job.
He is. He's had a very good season so far, and he's another one of those kids that we get back next year. But I can't say enough good things about Ryan DeSille and our offensive line. With him leading the biggest group, not size-wise, but just number-wise, there's 5 of those guys on the line, and he is my leader up front.
And they were new to the season. I mean, not all of them had a lot of game time experience.
Not many of them played, we're getting better each and every week. But for that group to go, he's the guy. He makes all the calls. He holds them accountable. When they're not doing what they're supposed to, then he's the guy that steps up and says, "Hey, let's go."
That's right. That's right.
All right, so how's the lineup look? We got have any injuries we need to know about?
We've got everybody that played last week. They're playing this week, so we're that's
Another
positive.
good week.
Another good week that we've got everybody healthy, ready to go. I think some of our bumps and bruises we've healed up. So just looking forward to go out tomorrow night, playing at home, and get win number 5.
All right, we're excited for it, Coach. We can't wait for it. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Panther Stadium. It's going to be live. It's going to be loud in Panther Stadium. So come out, support your Panthers. We know you
Senior
always
night.
do. Senior night.
Senior night, yep.
Hey, this is big. This is the last time the seniors are going to play on this field unless they make the playoffs for the home game. So come out, support the seniors. Come watch all of them. Go across the track and get their acknowledgments. But we're excited. Caldwell's coming into town. We want to thank BK Distributors once again. We want to thank Rio Rojo for always hosting us on these coaches' night. We want to especially thank you, Coach York, for putting in your time, coming out and spending your Thursday evenings with us. You don't have to do that.
Thank you.
And listen, we want to thank everybody who come out tonight. And we'll see y'all tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Panther Stadium. Everybody give a big round of applause. Our Coach Aaron York.